We love this city. We believe that God has ordained the times and places that people would live, and that includes here and now. Whether you do or do not believe in Jesus, the truth is, a penniless carpenter 2,000 years ago started a movement that would live for thousands of years, that would launch more hospitals, more research universities, more relief organizations, and inspire more art than anything in human history. And he did it by starting a church. Not my church, not your church, not the Methodist or the Baptist or the Catholic church, but the global worldwide church. And it has spread like wildfire because the gospel of Jesus is that big. God is inviting you and me to partner with Him in a story much bigger than the one we've been telling. A story worth giving our entire lives. A story that answers the cries of our world for restoration and peace, changing us from the inside out. Not making us more religious or better at playing church, but transforming our lives, our families, our cities, and the world. That is the news of the kingdom of God. A world renewed and set right. As this renewal spreads, what we see is that every member of Pleasant Valley becomes a sold-out follower of Jesus Christ in every area of their life. That means that's going to impact everything they do and every life that they touch. We want to be known as a church in Central Arkansas that helps people with their actual daily challenges, from addiction to marriage trouble to parenting to unemployment or underemployment. We also want to be known as a church that helps bring races together in Central Arkansas, and not just in our building, but all over Central Arkansas. And first, we must reflect that in our membership and in our staff and our leadership, the demographic of the community that God has actually placed us in. That's who we want to be in the next 10 years.
We're going to pour 50,000 volunteer hours into discipling the next generation and passing on the gospel of Jesus only. Our young people will feel welcome and empowered as the vital members of God's family that they are.
We will also break down the traditional barriers between adult, teen, and children's ministries, forming a support group around the whole family and creating a culture of church-wide discipleship.
We really believe that one day God is going to restore all things, knowing that changes how we live and the ways we mention and so many more. God will bring heaven to earth, and the most important part is living into that story and inviting others to live in it with us.
I want to raise my kids in a church like this, and I bet you do too. I want my kids and our neighbors to see that we take Jesus seriously in our lives.
We want people in our city to be sold out disciples for Christ. We can't wait to see how that will transform our communities from Central Arkansas to Mozambique.
Moms and dads stand together. Domestic abuse trending downward. Addictions being defeated. People finding meaning and purpose in their work, and generously funding nonprofits to renew our communities. When more people hear this good news for the first time, or even hear it again in a new way, lives, families, and communities will be transformed from the inside out.
The gospel hasn't changed. It's still about a brown-skinned man who was born in Bethlehem and killed on a Roman cross, but was raised to fullness in God. And you can too. We can too. We all can too. This is the story of God's restoration of all things. What God did for Jesus, He wants to do for every single one of us. That's what this is about. God's renewal of all things for all people. Renew all.